Hi everyone. I hope you hear me. So, um, yes, my name is Miganoush Magarian. I'm the co-founder of Teach Surfing Social Enterprise, and today I'm going to talk about our open source AI coaching and assessment tool that we build. But first, I will start to talk who we are and how come we end up building this tool and how you can get engaged. So, to have a little bit nice, thoughtful start, we believe that everyone has a valuable knowledge to share, and we as Teach Surfing enable you to share your knowledge. So this is our purpose of our organization. How we do that? We have a teachsurfing.org platform, which is a community of people who want to voluntarily share their knowledge. And on the other side, we have organizations like school, universities, nonprofit organizations who say, what are their learning needs? And over the platform, we connect this network, and these individuals can offer workshops and talks where they share and transfer their knowledge to local communities. On the other hand, we also offer trainings for people who want to learn how to present their knowledge in a form of workshop or talk. So you're good at what you do, you're a professional at a specific topic, or you're motivated to teach, but you don't know how. So we have free online courses. We have also online training material developed by our community. We also have live trainings, most of them sponsored by funders like EU. And the courses that we do, the online courses that we do, are university accredited. So you can check these courses on how become a volunteer educator on our website. And the last but not least, as a social enterprise, we offer a software solution called Good Match, which is a digital and customizable matching platform to boost exchange in your network. So we will have a software as a solution, a cloud instance. You will have your own digital network, and you will have smart matching and collaboration features to basically match your community in a digital way. So now a little bit like who are these teach surfers and what do they say about us? We had Jeffrey, who was from Greece and traveled to Ethiopia and offer a workshop about cutting edge technology in a startup community there. And his purpose was to get to know locals and their culture. And his impression was that the interesting thing for me with Teach Surfing was having this opportunity to connect with locals and have a context in which I was teaching and learning. I didn't actually feel like a teacher, but more like a presenter, and there was learning on both sides. Some different contexts. We had Khaled Hood from Syria, who refuged to Germany in 2015, and since then he gave over 100 workshops about Arabic language and culture in Berlin. And his impression is that the idea of sharing knowledge and experience let you learn things you don't find in books, adopt new points of view, and open your eyes to see a better version of life. And also, this is me. So my motivation to share knowledge, and also a little bit about my background. I'm a software engineer, and I'm originally from Armenia. So whenever I travel back to Armenia, my motivation is to teach in a school about IT career in order to inspire young girls to continue studying and consider a career in the IT field. So these are some impressions. You can take 1 second and think about what is the topic you are more burning to share? What is the topic that you want to share? And what motivates you to share it? So you heard about our motivations. I think you should find the correct motivation to share your topic, share your knowledge. And now the final question, and I would like you to think a little bit also. Then what is stopping you from sharing your knowledge? So if you know what you want to share and you have the motivation to share, nothing should stop you to share knowledge. Yeah, so by that introduction, I'm jumping into our project funded by EU called Youth Volunteer Educators eLearning Program. This is where we came up with the idea of having custom learning plan tool. Well, this program, the idea was to enable young refugee and migrants to develop their personal strengths, to share their knowledge and culture with other communities, other cultures. So we offer online course, supervision of over trainers and peer support. And basically participants, after finishing the program, they would get then 2.5 ECTS credits. So the course was also accredited by university. And this went all well, but we faced some challenges there. One challenge that we had, especially also with target group youth, target group young refugee and migrant, was that we had to invest a lot of human resources to define a custom learning plan matching the learner's background. So what do they know? What do they stand? Which part of the course they should pay more attention and which part they can take it as optional. So these are the stuff that we did all manually in this first project, in eval project. And the other problem is that one size fits all learning plan ignores the individual differences, different in temperament, attention spans, and learning styles. So everybody had this big chunk of content and everybody should go through all of that. And it was too much time commitment for parts that maybe they didn't need to take or do. So it was not at all customized. So based on these challenges, we started a new project called RAISE. Again, the main target group was young refugees and migrants who want to integrate in the community and they want to expand their professional network and find a place in the European job market. So we said if they are trained to offer workshops and presentations, this would basically raise their chances to find jobs and local network. And this time we added a factor of having an individualized skill assessment tool, a customized learning plan for each of them based on their background, based on what they know, and having a learning reassessment cycle. So we try to automatize this step to save resources and scale. So now we are landing to where the topic of this talk is, and that's to introduce finally our product, open source AI assessment and coaching tool. The objective of this tool is to assist educators by leveraging state-of-the-art AI technology as a scalable, extensible, and reusable framework. So we built something not only for us, but we build it in a modular way, an open source way, that you can take it and you can adjust it for your own online courses, for your own learners. So this is the modular architecture of the framework, which will enable you to adopt a course easily, adopt a tool easily for your own context. So the core of what I'm presenting, the custom learning plan tool, which we call CLP tool, is based on expert data decision model. So when it comes to AI, it's always a question, and it's a different range, what is allowed to call AI and what not. And the first step towards AI is to build the historical data and collect historical data. So if we don't have any historical data, we would use experts of the field to make decisions. So we would go to an educator and say, okay, this is a learner, this is the course. What would you recommend to skip or keep? So we basically transform this expert data into the tool. So the tool becomes this decision maker. And after the next phases or next generation is when we collect enough historical data, we will do a historical database decision model, which is the actual AI or more qualified to be called AI. So the custom learning plan tool, I presented from two perspectives. One is from the educator's perspective. So you are an education coach, how you can give your knowledge to the tool so the tool can work for you. So the first, you can see here we have three main areas on the tool. The first part is the questionnaire. So this is basically the questionnaire where you define what information do you need from the learners to make a decision on what chapters to hide, what assignments to show or hide, and so on. So the first step is you always create your questionnaire. For us, it's paper form, but I mean, you can have your own questionnaire application. And the next step is that we have a CLP core service and rule generator. Well, basically what this part does is the heart of the tool. And one side from above, it takes the questions and user data, but also from bottom from your learning management course, your learning management platform, which in our case is WordPress, it takes the learning plan.
If I may interrupt very shortly, there's a request in the chat to remove the pop-up to click on Ausblenden so that they can read the presentation better. Perfect.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Also, no, thank you so much for the question, because I realized that people are there and paying attention, because it's full screen, I don't see you. So yeah, happy to hear, and you can interrupt me anytime. Thanks for the note. So exactly, now you can see better. Oh, I have to move this also mouse also up. Yes. So three parts. One is the questionnaire to get user data. Then we have the core service, which is helping with communication, but also generating rules. So taking the educator in one hand, it's writing the questionnaires, on the other hand writes the rules. So it means if the answer to question A is correct, then you can hide chapter A. Or if the answer to question B is this and that, you can hide or show assignment B. No? So these are the rules that education coach is defining. So the core has the core functionality, basically taking the user data, taking the rules defined by education coach, and basically based on that make a decision, what is the custom learning plan that I'm producing for a special user. So the message in this slide is just to say that education coach has two jobs to do: write the questions, and then on the other interface, by seeing from one side the learning course learning plan, define the rules for each of the sections. I show you a screenshot, and afterwards I'm happy to show you the live demo. Here, for instance, is a screenshot of our tool in our demo instance. You see on this column on left, this is the content of the course, which is fetched from WordPress in our case, automatically fetched from WordPress. And in the main side here, you see the rules that is defined by the education coach. How it works is that all these lines that you see are questions that are fetched from the questionnaire. So first I choose a question, and then it says, you have already heard something about exponential learning. Is this correct? Do you know about it? And I always define a rule. So if it's yes, it means it needs to go to the next question. So basically this part, questions are fetched from the questionnaire. So two kind of input data. One is the chapter content from the learning management tool, and the other part is the questions from the questionnaire that you build. And here is the playground to decide how you want to hide or show a special chapter. In this example, you see unit B21, knowing the experiential learning theory, has different kind of rules to be decided if I want to show or hide this for a special learner. So what are the rules? Is one hand you can and or you have different conditions. You can and the different rules, or you can group them. But also you have different kind of question types, like you see. The first one is yes or no question. The second one is ordering questions, and we also have ranking questions. So these are different type of questions that you can play with to build your rules, basically. Do you have questions on this screen? Because now I changed the perspective to learner's perspective. Okay, so maybe we can talk afterwards if you have questions. So the learner perspective is that learner needs to fill the questionnaire, clear, and then the questionnaire information comes to the core service and rule generator. And there, of course, the rules are already defined by the content expert or the educator. And after compiling that, the tool is sending two kind of input for the learner. One is an email, hey, Megan, here are the chapters, which we think is optional and you can leave it out. But also we integrate this in WordPress LearnPress plugin. It means when the learner logs into LearnPress and the course, they will see the chapters which are optional marked as optional. So I have a small demo that I'm going to, a video that I'm showing this to you. This is our course on volunteer educator. And this is how the learner works with the survey. So they just log in first. And the first chapter is to that we ask them to fill in this paper form questionnaire. The first part of the questions are self-assessment questions, like these ones. And the rest are the questions that are related to defining the rules. So if they answer this correct, then you can put this chapter on optional. So here you see different types of questions, like this is ordering question. We also have selection question like this one, and ranking question like this one, and also metric question like this one. And of course, I answer it all right in this demo because I wanted you to see, okay, if I answer right, then there are the specific chapters that will be also marked as optional in my learning management system or in my curriculum. So based on the questionnaire outcome, you can see B2.1. It's marked as optional, so I don't have to read that. It looks like I have experience about that content. And also there is unit D11, which is also marked as optional, and D21. So this is end-to-end look and experience for the learner. So they know what chapters or units they can skip. Okay. Yeah, so that's the current state, and that's an open source tool that we are providing. But like I said, there is a future work needs to be done, which is when we collect enough historical data using this tool, we would include also profiling of the users based on historical data, and the tool would give a smart recommendation for custom learning plans. So we will combine expert knowledge, which is the coach defining the rules, but also recommendation based on historical data. A person like you got this recommendation and he was happy, so you should be also happy with this. So combining best of everything to have a fully AI driven custom learning plan provider. So get engaged, the last slide. So one part I talked about is a custom learning plan tool. Sponsored by you, we have a training for educators who want to integrate this tool in their educational program, which will take place in February 2024 in Palermo. So if you're interested to join this training, write me an email. I talked a lot about our volunteer educator course, how you can share your knowledge. So if you're interested in your individual and your professional development level to offer workshop and talk, please join our courses at event.teachsurfing.org. And here I have the link to the GitHub code because it's an open source project. You can have a look. If you're a more techie person, you can start to play with it already now. And the last but not least, after this talk, I will be in lobby and try to find my network table so we can have a chat if you have a special question or request for partnerships and etc. Thank you so much. This is my email and this is my last slide. So I think I would now thank you so much for the klatschen. And do we
Thank
have
you.
time for, we have 8 minutes for questions.
Yeah, exactly. The audience can ask the questions via the chat or the Q&A tool. So feel free to interact and shoot your questions.
So not much questions left. If someone is interested, I can, yeah.
Maybe they're also busy typing, who knows?
I could also, if we have now time, I can show you the demo of the tool live. So because I didn't took so much time for showing the query builder. Yeah. What do you think? Yes, please. Okay, so I will dig a little bit deeper into the our demo instance and how we build the questions. So this is the interface. I had a screenshot, and you see here we have all the course chapters fetched from WordPress LearnPress. And for each chapter, I can go there, and my example was on chapter B, for instance, on explanation learning. And here is how I define the rules. So either I say and, it means either this should be true or the grouping, all this should be true. And here is how I select the questions. These are all the questions that I listed in my questionnaire. It's also fetched from the questionnaire, of course. Let's say I want to say, are you familiar with platform TikTok? I can select this. And here I can say, because it's ranking, no, 0 to 5, I can say if the ranking for this question, if the person is familiar with this stuff and says greater than equal to 4, no, then this chapter should be optional. But also you can make it more complex and say, no, and it's not only this, but also this person, okay, he says, she says she knows this question, but I want to ask a second question. And this one is ordering question, no? So it is always you have to check the question here, and also in my paper form I can see the question type, and for instance, please bring the 4 key phases in the correct order. We can see in my course content. This is also our demo instance. When we look at my questionnaire, you can see the different types of questions. So this type, for instance, I need to fill in. Okay, it's important to know that the self-assessment questions are not considered in rule. These are considered for self-evaluation. So this is the data that the educator will get from the tool, and in the end of course could have another questionnaire to evaluate their learning. So did they get better in this and this and that or not? So evaluate their learning. These are for self-assessment, and yeah. So here, for instance, when you see this question, I have to click further to come to my example. Here is to please bring in order these phases. No, you can see this is my question, but also as an educator in Query Builder, you select that question, yeah, and then you say, okay, only if this is the right order, if the person chooses this order, then you can keep this unit optional. And then you can group the rules, no? So this part is grouping some set. Oh, this is better view. You can see or condition. It says either this small group is correct or the other question. No, so you can evaluate it in also or statements. And here is also we can also go back and see how this question look like in my questionnaire. You can see here the technical term pure experience is blah blah blah, and then there are some options to be select. No, in the query builder you come here and you say when a person in this question selects this option, so these all the options you can also see, and this option, then this statement will be true. No? So how I demo in my demo, if I select all these three, then this statement will be true.
If I may interrupt, we have two questions. We have one question in the chat, and we have another question in the Q&A section. So maybe you can also.
I can start with the chat. Could you say something about the data privacy for the user data? Who can see their test results? So the test result is managed through Paperform. So it's all data privacy that Paperform offers. And yeah, that's the data privacy for the Paperform. The query builder, on the other hand, at this demo instance, we don't have any authentication. So that's something that needs to be built. So, but here you don't have any user data. So it doesn't matter. Here you don't see any user data. You define the rules. And in learning management tool, the data privacy is on LearnPress, on WordPress. No? So depending on what tool you use, but the only interface to core service is this, and this doesn't expose any user data. Okay. Did you use other personalization methods next to showing or hiding content? Good question. No, we did not. But one thing we were thinking about was different learning styles. And this would be directly connected, again, showing or hiding. So if a chapter is more interesting for a person who likes more stories or more images or more videos, then you could show that one. So we didn't cover anything else. Do you have something in mind, Julian, for like something else than showing or hiding? We have 1 minute, so you can write an answer if you want to elaborate more. Okay, I don't hear you, but I can check the chat. Okay, I don't see also an answer. Yes, Julian is writing. For example, different presentation modes for the same content. Video, exactly. So this is what I was thinking also the same. So yeah, if you duplicate your content, like chapter A in 3 different styles, still it's about hiding and showing. Yeah, so it boils down to, okay, if I identify with my question and this person is more a video person, then I would hide the text chapter. It's not or, it's and case. And if the person is more, so the limitation is also on the WordPress side because it's only a kind of a dummy way to just copy paste, duplicate the content if you want to have different forms of learning, but still hide and show would help this. Yeah, no problem. So we have 1 second, and I think I can now go to the lobby and find a network table. If you're interested, please join me there.